Hello, friends and family. Camille DeVille here. I'm going to go over, as I'm approaching my 6 month sober, my journey, like start to present. And most of you know, if you've been following, why I stopped drinking, how it went. I think the last video I might have done was at 60 days, or maybe it was 30 days. I don't know. But I decided to give it some more time and then do some other milestones. So I am on the 26th of this month, which we are in August, celebrating 60 days. So I'm going to take it back for a moment to why did I decide to quit drinking and what my drinking looked like at that time. So rewind, when I was younger, I could go to the bar, have fun. I didn't understand my friends that were like, oh, I don't have money, so I can't go out tonight. I'm like, karaoke's free. I've mentioned that before. Um, I did get to that point in my later years, whatever the hell, and where it was like, do I have enough to get drinks? Um, and I did, so I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have the money. Probably would have gone, but my beer, yeah, my drink of choice was beer. Um, and I basically, in the COVID times, just before that, started going through a divorce, which was very, very hard on me, mentally, physically, the whole bit. Um, and don't, I don't really know why I started drinking then. I was like home, didn't want to do a ton, going through a Great Depression, but I was drinking maybe 4 beers, and um, I never ever, even up till I quit, liked the feeling of being drunk. Like, I liked the buzz feeling, I guess, but I've never liked being out of control or sick and those kind of things. So, anyhow, that's how I think it started. It was something with that, and I'm not blaming the divorce. It was more so just like, oh, this is kind of fun, just hanging out with me, like finding something that I enjoyed doing alone. Um, Kind of pass the time, kind of relaxing. That's, and like I said, at first it wasn't much, and then fast forward, I got together with my current husband, and he was drinking, and then that was something we could do together. Again, not blaming that relationship, but I like when I look back, seeing the progression. Um, I drank Coronas when we first got together, but we drank. Ooh, I might have to sneeze. Hold on. We drank pretty much every time we hung out, and beer after beer. And eventually your tolerance builds up. So I actually switched to cheaper beers that used to taste like shit to me. But yeah, then we were natty light people, natural light beers, and um, that progressed over time together. Where one case, a 15 pack, was not enough for the night. Go to work, whatever, and I might have had like a beer or two during the day, but once he was home, we moved in pretty quickly together, then we would drink, and I was like, oh, at some point, 15 beers was not enough to split throughout the night. I'm like, he's going to drink a ton, I'm going to drink a ton, and it might not be the entire case, but damn near. Like, so at that point, I kind of thought this is a little excessive, and I'm not proud of how much I'm drinking. But kept going, and then um, on my own, I was drinking most days earlier in the day and just got earlier and earlier. So if I got up early, I would crave a beer by 10 a.m. And if if not, it was usually around 12 to 2. So like I was aware, loving people, knowing people that suffered with alcoholism, not knowing if I was, even though I was like, okay, it's all about perspective, and unless it's negatively ruin your life, then there's no problem. And I wasn't trying to be in denial, I was just trying to be real. Um, but I was like, it is negatively impacting my life if I'm drinking while I'm working. Um, Working from home studio mostly, so it's kind of harder to define that when you're working. But really, Camille, give yourself a time, like 6 or whatever. Make sure you're done with the last client of the day. But I did not adhere to that all the time. And so that was a part of my decision making that I just actually switched to NAs during the day for a time, non alcoholic beers. So to get the taste, the habit, but then not drink till later. But it wasn't long after that I decided. And I was actually, my husband had decided to quit drinking 100 days prior to me. And there was a lot that went into that decision for me. I'd been playing around in my head, and I was like, gosh, so many reasons. I didn't want to keep drinking like I was every day, all day, for the most part. And I wasn't fucked up, but I was pretty buzzed, like, throughout the day. It's just not where I wanted to be. And the biggest thing, the main reason that I stopped, just kind of all encompassing of every reason put into one, is um, whether you want to call it a disease or whatever, but for the sake of just making this easy to understand, it's progressive. So if I started out with, oh, I just drank socially here and there, and then it was this, and then it was this, and now it's this, and I'm drinking a fucking case a day, that I don't trust, and that I'm invincible. Nobody is. But I realized, like, I don't want to risk it. I remember hearing someone, one of the most impactful things that I've ever heard going to a meeting, because I've gone to AA meetings on and off in support of people I love, and in the beginning a couple times just to kind of scope it out low key and be like, am I an alcoholic, without asking or whatever, was you don't, someone sponsored told them, and I mentioned this before, but you don't have to go all the way down. You don't have to hit your rock bottom. You can get off right here. Because I like pictured, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but like pictured an elevator, and it's like, do you want to keep going down and see how bad it can get, or do you want to stop here and see how good it can get, kind of situation. So I was like, yeah, the risk of alcohol continuing to become a bigger and bigger problem for me, I want to give this a try. That's how I started it. I just want to give this a try. My husband, who I didn't think was ever going to quit, um, decided to quit. And that's his story to share if he ever does, why, etc. But um, I was inspired by him that it was definitely possible. I've been inspired by my brother and his sobriety. He really struggled, and he let it go. He let it go to that rock bottom. He just kept taking the elevator down, and then he would get off sometimes and then get back on, and it's like, you didn't go floor up, you kept going down. And I'm like, I want better than that for myself, and I don't want to get so far down that it's like feels impossible to get back. I just want to be okay. I just want to be better. So the fear of where it could have gone is what has kept me sober, had made me want to get sober. And that was my only vice, drinking. I didn't really like even shots. I never have. I would occasionally take them, but kind of peer pressure me into them, just like with the family and stuff. But yeah, just beer. And as many of you know, it's coming up now. At my 6-month sober anniversary is 3 days prior to my mom's 1-year anniversary of taking her own life. But the reason she took her own life, obviously depressed, is she medicated herself with alcohol. Well, it used to be a food addiction, and then it wasn't, and then alcohol, which really turned her shit upside down. Like, she went from the most truly beautiful, like, outside, inside person to doing things you only hear about on Jerry Springer, and not feeling good about herself and feeling like she didn't want to live. And ultimately, it's hard to even say, like, oh, my mom took her life. Alcoholism took her life. It did, even though, yeah, okay, her liver didn't give up yet or any of that. And just watching all of that, but most impactful, that she just isn't here anymore. And that grief and that pain will always be with me. And also a way to honor her, because she did try to get better on and off. She wanted to, but she was so fucking far down. And I remember her telling me, like, nobody wants to be an alcoholic. Nobody goes into it thinking, oh yeah, I want to ruin my fucking life. And I'm like, okay. So I think about that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't want to get so fucking low down that I take my own life in a bender, drunken situation, not understanding things, not being able to see clearly how people feel about me or how I feel about stuff, not being able to, drinking so heavily that my body felt reliant, like where she was at. So, and then yes, with my husband quitting, it wasn't a requirement by any stretch. I had to mention it to him a couple times that I had thought about quitting, and he's supportive of it, and I had like a glimmer of excitement about it, but it's not like I was raging, you know. So he also didn't, and thankfully, because you do have to do it for yourself. It wasn't no ultimatum or like you should do this. I just knew I wanted to grow with him, and people change over the years, and we all grow individually, for better or for worse. But it was very important to me because he's like my main dream in life, being happily married, mutually in love, to stay growing together within my control. And I just thought, this is such a big deal, and I don't see any benefit of me drinking that would help us keep growing together. So then I stopped, and I didn't know. You know, I was like, I know I want to make it a month, and I wasn't making any certain commitment in my head. I was like, you know, I mean, ideally, like low key, it'd be nice to just not drink again, because what does it really do for you? But I enjoyed it. What was I gonna say? Enjoyed it. Oh, so going in not really having a timeline or specific plan, just seeing can I do it? I wanted to show myself that I still was in control, and I did, and I made it to that month. And then it seemed like, in a way, because I was sharing my story publicly, which is kind of nice, in the way of I felt responsible to myself, but also to come back here and be like, hey, now I'm at 60 days, you know. And some people care, other people think, some people don't. I do, to an extent, and I think that also my journey can inspire other people. And y'all fucking, if you know me, you know I be helping people and animals and people. So it's been really good to get perspective on this side. And granted, I don't know what it's like to be at the lowest of low, where alcohol completely runs your life, but I know the fear of it. I've seen it happen to people I love, the people closest to me. Lost my mom over it, like I said, and it was definitely headed that way, or definitely could have been. It's just not worth the risk to me. Back to what I was saying. So, anyhow, those are the reasons I decided to try sobriety. And then at some point, I was like, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say, yeah, I really do want to be sober forever. Because, one, I wasn't sure, but even the parts of me that did feel sure, I didn't want that pressure from anyone else or myself, kind of. But, like, I want to be able to have a cocktail like a normal, quote unquote, person here and there if I want to, special occasion, or a beer a couple nights a week if I decide that's what I want to do. But I know myself, and I trust myself, and I said I need more time. That's where I've been. I need more sobriety time to make that decision, because it's a big decision, because it's a big fucking risk if things don't go smoothly, if I am not capable. And a lot of people recovering or getting sober It starts like that. And I'm aware of that because I've been in those fucking meetings. It starts like that, like, oh, I can just do this, and that works for a little while, but they ultimately end up back where they were or worse. So again, that risk, I don't want to experience it myself. I don't want, it kind of feels like even though you've earned that time and that time did something good for you, that it's a waste if you go fucking back and fuck your shit up or make it worse. Yeah, so I don't want to start my time over again. So let me talk about some of the great things that have happened as a result of me not drinking. And then I want to talk about how I got through those moments. Maybe I'll kind of intermix them. I'm going to try to make this short. I know it's hard to just listen, but these are all really fucking important key parts. Um, so, um, benefits. One of the first things I'm thinking of is I completely stopped working out and eating right. I don't know if it was age and drinking and lifestyle and the way I was eating, probably just a fucking mix of all of it, but I've always been rail thin, like got made fun of basically for it. And then I always wanted to gain weight. Well, then I got to that weight and then I surpassed it and I was like, oh, you still look cute. It's okay. We just tone up a couple things, literally, like not far from where I'm at now. But like the drinking, I have lost and consistently keep off about 12 pounds. Not only that, the bloating that was in my face. Like, I remember this Christmas picture we fucking took last year, and my makeup was pretty, my hair was pretty, the dress was pretty, but I didn't feel pretty. I felt embarrassed to post it, but it's my family Christmas picture, so I posted it, but I was like, ooh, I look fucking big, and to me, that's important, not to have a big swollen face, not to hide behind my daughter because I'm insecure in my dress. Which definitely did not fit me anymore, and that's fine. But the fact that I fucking think it was because of the gosh dang drinking, ain't no fucking drinking worth extra pounds on me that I don't need. And it seemed like it happened little by little. So again, that could have been progressive weight gain from drinking beer. And I used to have these thoughts of like, oh, maybe I'll switch to vodka so I don't have the weight gain. Da da da. Bitch, I was like, but I was thankfully I was like, no, I'm not doing that because that shit's even stronger. And again, I'm not trying to go down no crazy path. That wasn't even when I was thinking about quitting. That was just a thought I had along the way when I was like, oh, I'm getting away from the drinking. Beer's fattening or bloating or whatever. So, did not do that. Hold on. Let me smoke this bone light over here. Maybe on the to-do list, but don't fuck with me because I got to make that decision on my own. So, um, yeah, so I've lost consistent 12 pounds, and that is did not change my eating habits. I did not start going back to the gym. I'm excited to and starting to get into that part of my body, mind, spirit recovery that I do want to do that. I want to feel comfortable and confident and la da 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 with what I see in the mirror. But shit, 12 down pounds just from not drinking beer, and I do drink NAs. So flopping here. I do drink non-alcoholic beers because sometimes I have the craving for it. And at first, they're not satisfying. At least for me, they weren't. Enough, but I was dedicated enough to my decision. I don't drink nearly as many of them because I guess it's just not as fun, you know, but they have helped tremendously. I think that it would be 1,000 times harder if I didn't have something that tasted like beer to get me through those moments like after work when you're just like, oh, I just want to chill. Moments when I'm at the bar playing a little Keno with a friend and have a little non-alcoholic beer, which I'm glad that they offer that now. Besides the point, that's been very helpful for me. Some people can't do that; it's too triggering. They just want the real thing. It was for me in the beginning, but I'm pushed through, and now they're just like a nice little pacifier that doesn't cause any fucking harm to my life. Um, I have been so much more productive since I stopped drinking because that was another reason I wanted to stop. I was like, I had a garage hangout at the time. In my garage, smoke and drink beer, like in the evening. So when I'm supposed to be, and when my husband was drinking, I mean, we would just do that together, kind of, you know. But then when he stopped, it became a little bit lonely. And then on top of that, my daughter, she don't want to be in the garage with smoke, obviously. And I was like watching true crime or listening to music, things of that nature, Dr. Phil. Um, but it wasn't an environment where I could interact with my family. So I was missing out time, and they were too. So that's another reason I wanted to quit. And I'm so glad I did because I have reaped so many benefits with quality time with both of them. And not only them, but being able to drive because even though I wasn't perfect, I was pretty mindful about driving. So the anxiety of not driving when I've had some drinks is gone because I don't have drinks anymore. And um, what the fuck was I gonna say? Because I'm not fucking drunk or in a position to hurt someone myself or get arrested, um, I'm able to go be with my family more and stuff. And that was another thing. There was times my grandma passed away this year in June, my mom's mom. And there was times that I couldn't go see her. She was right up the road, but like too far to walk, close enough to drive, but I'm like, I'm not going because I'm drinking. And I was like, I want to be mindful of that. I want to spend time with her. So I was able to spend even more time with her. I already was, but more time with her in the evenings and things like that once I quit drinking, which was a huge thing. And, you know, clearly now she's fucking gone physically. So I got even more time with her because of that. I know that I'm a better family member, sister, listener, just everything, business woman. And I feel better about myself. And I'm a better wife too. Like in the time I didn't, like I said, I was not a raging alky Hallie, and but I did. Now looking back, it's like probably got a little snappy, probably got a little sensitive when I didn't need to. Um, so just everything has really benefited. I remember at my, I think it's a 60-day meeting, like explaining, and it made my daughter choke up because she came with me. That I'm so grateful for the time that it's allowed us to be together. And now if she needs a ride to the store, I got her, you know? Amazing, amazing, amazing. And also, I don't go to AA meetings like I said I had in the past. And then I went, um, I went like I don't even know. All I know that was for sure there at 30 days. They have birthday meetings once a week. And that's when you celebrate like an anniversary, a milestone. And then I went there for my 60 days and I haven't been back. And the meetings have helped like my brother and a lot of other people that I see in there. One of my good friends who's got 13 years plus sober. So they are absolutely beneficial and worth checking out if that's something that you or someone you love is interested in. For me, I don't. I've given it the tries and stuff, and I'm not opposed to going to celebrate someone's anniversary, milestone, birthday. I'm not opposed to going if maybe there's like some time and point that I get really like, fuck it, I want to fucking drink. But first, I'm gonna do everything I can not to. I like already decided that a while back, so I was like, okay, a meeting would be something I'd consider. But for me and my husband, we do stay sober without um, the meetings. Although they do say that anytime you're speaking with another alcoholic counts as a meeting, and I do talk to my brother sometimes, and I talk to my husband, and we check in on the drinking thing. And well, I guess we have like our own little meetings. Just like the structured meetings aren't for me. I'm fucking bored, to be honest with you. So anyway, there's been multiple tempting moments, birthdays, families, like I said, I didn't really take shots, but now my family still takes shots sometimes. And in those instances, why the fuck now am I feeling tempted? Why the fuck now? I never drank wine really. I've tried it and didn't like it. Am I having a craving for that sometimes? Oh, it'd just be nice to have a glass of wine. I don't know. Your brain does fuck it up shit, but haven't done it. I've had a couple dreams I've been offered alcohol and not drink in them, and I actually feel proud of myself. I don't feel like when I wake up like, oh shit, I didn't get like a little fake drunk. No, I like actually feel grateful and proud that even in these tempting moments in the dream, that I'm aware that I don't drink anymore, and I want to stick with that. A lot of times it's just a reminder of one day at a time because I worry. I'm like, oh well, my friend, you know, she's gonna have her wedding, but the more and bachelorette party and all these things, but the more practice I've gotten, the more secure I feel that, and that I don't have the desire as much. And I do sometimes, I do, but I just know the benefits. I know that I feel better this way. I know what it could be, and I also want to honor my mom's life and what she tried to do and stay sober. Um, for her, for my daughter, for my family. That includes my biological family, my husband, and for myself. Fuck yeah, for myself. So that's where I'm at now. Working through temptation is, I just, oh, I remember the first show I went to after I stopped drinking. That was hard. It was like a mental little mind fuck of, I can't. And that fucked with me. I was so irritated about it. Like, put me in a bad mood and shit. But I didn't drink. I got the fuck over it. Put on my big girl panties and move the fuck on. Um, when I am feeling tempted as an idea, maybe not in that moment, but as an idea, like maybe I'll go back, I do talk to someone who understands. And even if it's not my husband or my brother who struggled with the same things in different degrees, but I'll talk to like a friend and they can be open to it. And that's good too to get that perspective for me. And then ultimately, I just keep deciding not to drink. So that's where I'm at. I just keep deciding not to drink because I don't want all this progress to have to start over. Kind of reminds me of going to the gym. I get like super into the gym and then start looking good and stuff and then fucking fuck off. And then it's like starting all over. And that's just, ugh. And this is a very more even serious thing. So I am grateful to be alive. I am grateful to be sober. I'm proud to be. I believe that it is possible for anyone, even uh, lesser addicted than I was at my stage and further. I know it's harder, so I just encourage you to, if you're thinking about it, to try it. Or do whatever makes you happy. You know, this is just my story, and I'm only responsible for me. I do want to help people, so hopefully it helps you in some way. Yeah, and as far as I know, I will continue to be sober for my life. That's the plan right now, anyway. Thank you for listening, and I will be celebrating on Monday the 26th, probably in my pool. And I will see you guys around. I feel like I probably left out little bits and pieces, but I think you get the idea. Have a great day.